Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Stand by. Okay, Houston, station on 2 for the PAO event. First, I moved the camera a little bit, so give me some guidance on any tweaks you want me to make.
If you could rotate just a touch counterclockwise, then we should be good. All right, looks good to me. Copy, thumbs up.
In Houston, station on 2 for the PAO event. Real quick, was it just a change of scenery that prompted the retake, or is there something Jeanette and I can do better on this one?
Yeah, TC, we copy the question. We're good with the scene. This is a live event with Director Robin Gatens. So there's no retake. This is just the Women in Aerospace Engineering Conference.
Houston, station on space to round 2. We are ready for the event.
All right, Houston copies. Director Robin Gatens, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for voice check.
Station, this is Robin Gatens. How do you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. How us?
Excellent, loud and clear. Excellent. All right, thank you. And hi, everyone. I'm Robin Gatens. I'm the director of the International Space Station and the Space Operations Mission Directorate at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C. And I'm also a Georgia Tech alumni. I'm really excited to be part of this event today with Georgia Tech and look forward to talking with our astronauts Tracy Dyson and Jeanette Epps, who are on board the International Space Station. Our own astronaut Sally Ride once said, if we want scientists and engineers in the future, we should be cultivating the girls as much as the boys. Here at NASA, women have been part of the advancement of exploration and innovation from the very beginning. Today, more than 75 women have flown in space, including astronauts, cosmonauts, payload specialists, and space station participants. The women who are aboard the space station today and those who've come before them would not have even left the atmosphere, much less be living in space, if it weren't for the incredible team of women and men on the ground. From center directors, managers, flight directors, and many other roles, they continue the exploration of space as NASA endeavors to land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon and send the first crews to Mars in the coming decades. I would like to pass it over for a moment to Joy L. Harris, who's the Director of Women in Engineering and Undergraduate Transformation Learning Initiatives at the Georgia Institute of Technology, who's joining us from the Women in Aerospace Engineering Conference at Georgia Tech to share a few opening remarks. Joy?
Yes, we're just so thankful for you all giving your time. We have lots of questions for you, so I am not going to say a lot. I thank you all who are here in the audience for coming and joining us for this wonderful celebration. Kids, all of your questions are going to be answered. I hope you heard Mars is the next place that we're going to. And we're just thankful for this celebration. Woohoo! So back to you, Robin.
Great, thank you, Joy. So Tracy and Jeanette, we really appreciate you taking a moment out of your busy day to talk with us. The research that you're doing on the International Space Station has enabled us to advance scientific knowledge on the Earth and in space for the benefits of everyone living on our home planet. And we're excited to learn more about your experiences in space, how life on the station is for you, and to inspire these students. So our students have come up with some questions. And if it's all right, I'll just ask you. So Tracy, you just arrived at station on Monday, but you've been there before. How has the station changed since you were last on board?
There's a few more cables and modules that have arrived and been installed since I was here last. It's actually the thing that's most notable is the science. Back when I was here in 2010, we were transitioning from building the station to actually utilizing it. So now that we're in full speed with utilization and science and technology, it's really cool to see how much the station has grown in terms of its scientific experiments and the principal investigations that are ongoing.
Great. And Jeanette, this as a first time on station, how has your experience been so far?
Well, it's been about 26 days that I've been here or so, and it has been just amazing to see the Earth from this perspective and some of the things that we get to participate in. And in particular, you know, the science that we're doing and trying to figure out how to get the human body to live longer in space, materials, all kinds of things that I've been interested in my entire career. And so we actually get to be the hands and the eyes for the investigators on Earth and be a big part of what's going on to get us further and further into space soon.
So how would you explain the feeling of spaceflight to these students? How was the trip? How is microgravity? And especially the students wanted to know, how is the food?
Well, starting with being on the launch pad and the anticipation of taking off, it was far better than I ever dreamed of. I always tell people, I've been telling people that if you had heard the screams from the capsule when we took off, it was like a bunch of people on an amusement park ride and full enjoyment of everything that was happening in that moment. And then once we could get out of our seats and look out the window, and we could see our booster heading back to Earth as we were going the other direction. Absolutely amazing. And then being weightless is a whole other phenomena. I mean, it feels like swimming. It feels like a couple of different things, but there's nothing like it really. And it does eventually become your friend, and you learn how to manage everything that's going to just float off if you don't tether it down or Velcro it down. So life up here is very unique, and it does take time to adapt. I mean, your body's changing. Everything about you is changing. Your perspective on Earth, your cellular structure, your bones, your muscles, and learning to live in space that's everything that has to adapt. And then the food. The food is interesting, and it's actually pretty good. It's very good. You know, I was saying that curry vegetables was one of my favorite things, and other people are like, "Ooh, that doesn't sound good." But up here, for some reason, it's one of my favorite dishes. Also, you know, there's all kind of different things that we have. For example, we have food from Isa where we have duck with capers, or from Russia, we'll have their pureed soups with meat, which are very good as well. So the food is not bad. It's actually better than you think. So I can sum up my experience and the time that I've been up here is that it's been mind blowing. It's just amazing and mind blowing all together. And you know, we're very fortunate that we get to be the ones to be your hands and eyes back on Earth. So you know, it's been a great time.
All right. So we're celebrating Women's History Month. What do you wish you had known or wish a young woman would know when contemplating a career in STEM?
One of the things, like when I was a kid, you know, my parents weren't engineers or scientists, but just having this sense that, number one, that you belong and you can do this. This is yours, you got it. You put in the time and effort, you can learn anything that you put your mind to. It's just, you know, a matter of choosing to learn it. Everything is hard until you learn it. And you know, telling my younger self that would have been probably a big boost because you know there's times when you're like, oh, what have I got myself into? But you stay the course, and you never know where you end up. Maybe even in space.
I don't know if you want me to add to that. I think about my own upbringing, and my parents never told me nor my sister that there was anything that we couldn't do or that girls didn't normally do. And my sister and I did everything from pump gas to construction work, riding motorcycles, all those kinds of things that I think traditionally we thought of as only interesting to boys. But my parents never even, it was almost like they put a veil in front of our face and just let us do the things that we enjoyed doing. So I think what I would say more is to the parents than to the kids. And that is if they show an interest in something to just help open the door, pave the way, and let's see what they can do.
That's awesome. So we're all part of the Artemis generation, and which is the generation that's going to go beyond low Earth orbit and to the moon and to Mars. So how can you explain to us how the space station is enabling that future?
I just think there's no greater test bed for trying to live and work in space than the International Space Station. And though we're only in low Earth orbit compared to the hundreds of thousands of miles away that the moon is, we are still in microgravity, and all of the challenges that we'll face there are present here. And so it just makes complete sense that we would test everything from how to work in space to how our bodies adapt to microgravity. And I think that not only that, but just how we work as a team, not just here on orbit, but also between the crew on board and the crew on the ground and all around the globe. And it's pretty cool to see that we're working together as a global team and not just our own nation trying to get to this great destination that we look at every evening, except when the moon's not out.
What are
Well, the
some of
space
the
station
favorite
is the
projects?
ultimate engineering test bed. Before some of our
Sorry,
favorite projects
continue,
that we've
Jeanette.
been working on. Well, I have to say, well, one of the projects, like working on figuring out the human body, has been a big aspect. And looking at all the data that, we're taking our blood, saliva samples, and just other markers we're collecting to figure out the human body and how we can get it to last longer and longer outside of the Earth's protection. So going forward in the future, we're going to the moon first, which makes sense to have that as an engineering test bed before we go on to do something bigger like Mars. So everything we do here, from the material science, the human body, looking at how materials burn is another big thing in our combustion rack. Looking at how we can use different robotic systems to look at different satellites that can help us in the future, and how to collect the satellites and basically declutter some of the atmosphere around Earth. So there's all kind of experiments that we're doing to help Earth and to figure out how to get our human body to last longer, how to develop materials on the moon, for the moon, outside of the Earth's radiation protection, and then on to Mars. It's one of the ultimate engineering test beds and laboratories, not just in the world, in space right now, in our space. Right.
Well said. I think so too. Speaking of technology, connectivity is pretty good from space station. You can get movies, TV, check email, and go online and talk to your families. So how do you spend your time when you aren't working?
I'd say check back in with us in a month or so, because we have not stopped working since we got here. But to answer your question, like you said, there's just so many ways to connect us with home, that there's no reason to be bored up here. But even if you didn't have projects, if we were, an LOS, we have a fantastic view out of our cupola, and there just doesn't seem enough time in the day to soak it all in. It's just a gorgeous planet that we live on, and the view of it from the space station is as thrilling as any other project that we can do on our free time. I don't know. What do you think, Jeanette?
You said it best. I agree. The cupola is not too shabby to look at the Earth. It's actually a great view. And we do have a lot of access to our family, but right now, we have a visiting vehicle. We have we have two actually, and we have a lot of things we're trying to get done before they have to leave. So we've been pretty busy since we got here. But when we do have free time, you're right, we've got all kind of ways to entertain ourselves, but especially having this perch above the Earth to look at it as it goes by it's unbeatable.
Yeah, you've got a cargo mission full of science and stuff to do, I know. So for the students in the audience today, and if any are interested in becoming an astronaut, actually applications are currently open. So can you share a little bit about your journey becoming an astronaut, and any advice that you would give to someone who wants to become one?
Well, my path is kind of a little bit different than some of the other people who have applied. And I was in graduate school, and I had several friends applying to get into the astronaut corps. They weren't in the aerospace group, but they were applying, but they weren't getting in. They were great people too. It was weird. A lot of them did not get accepted, but they were brilliant, amazing people. And so, I'm looking at these folks, not realizing that if they're not getting in, I'm not gonna get in. So I basically set my career up to be whatever I wanted it to be. I wanted to have a long career in aerospace. So once I graduated, I went on to Ford Motor Company, and I did worked in the research lab there, and then I went on to work for a 3-letter agency that you may know, the CIA, for 7.5 years as a tech ops person. I did a lot of different things as an analyst, and so it was a great way to like really immerse myself in everything aerospace. And then while I was working there, I ended up doing a couple of interesting things that made me realize that it was probably time to apply to the astronaut corps because it was my last chance. And when a mutual friend of ours, Leland Melvin, called me, he said, "Well, they're accepting applications this year. You may want to apply." It was I felt like it was a shot in the dark, and I just applied, and here I am. But really, the big thing that I think students should know is that their careers should be exactly what they want it to be before they apply, or, apply while they're pursuing this career that they really want. And my career was that. So if I didn't get in, I would have been happy, but you got to apply in order to play the game. So if you don't apply, you can never get in. So I say apply early and often if this is your dream, and pursue it with all your heart. And you never know where you'll end up. As your goals go far, you'll go far. If you never have these goals to get anywhere, you won't go anywhere. So I say set your goals big and your passion, follow that passion to where you want to be. You never know, you may end up there. There's no promises that you'll get there, but you never know where you'll end up. You'll do great things anyway, as long as you pursue something that's your passion and it's a goal that's worthy fighting for.
I'm not sure if I could really add to that, just to echo what Jeanette said, in that just find out what it is that you really enjoy doing and pursue that thing. And if being an astronaut or working at NASA is something that interests you, then apply, like Jeanette said. And but don't give up on the thing that you really enjoy doing, because when you enjoy what you do, it's going to bring out the best in you, and that's what we want, and that's what you want. So like I said, I think Jeanette said it best, and just back her up with those words and encourage the kids out there to really take stock of the things that they enjoy doing now. And if they ask themselves, would I want to keep doing this, then I'd say make note of that.
That's great advice. I think we just have a couple more minutes, and I know the students wanted to get a photo in front of the screen with you guys in the background.
Okay, astronaut says come to the screen. Come to the stage. Come to the stage
So
now. We have 2 minutes, and we want to
while
take a
they're
photo
doing
with
that,
you, lovely ladies. Just smile. Come to the stage now. Just don't cover the astronauts. Step up on both sides. Step up. Come on.
I know they were also
Let's see how
interested in seeing
quickly
you
elementary
float.
school students can come to a stage. They're waving at you. Oh, don't float away. All right.
They wanted to see him float.
We have 1 minute. All right. The students, turn around and face the camera. Look at your teachers.
All right, did you get it?
Yes. All right, we got it. Thank you all. Thank you
Okay.
all so much.
Thank you, Tracy and Jeanette, for all your time today and all the work that you're doing. Have a great expedition on station. We can't wait to see all the incredible results. Thanks again.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.